So I'm doing a video on the Yanmar 235C cab. I posted on Tractor by Net, first time ever, looking for something like this. I drove myself nuts researching, and I finally came to the conclusion that between Yanmar, Kubota, John Deere, Coyote, they were all very decent tractors. It was who was going to give me the best deal. Basically, I had a Kubota front mower, diesel zero turn to trade, and we wanted to buy a compact and a zero turn. I ended up buying a Ferris as well. I spent hours researching specs upon specs and thought this tractor has got this and that tractor's got that, and I truly believe once I got it out on the property they all would perform fine. Kubota didn't have any smaller cab models in stock. John Deere wouldn't give me a decent trade for my Kubota, and neither would Kubota for that matter. Yanmar gave me an excellent trade figure, and they had the Ferris, which I wanted because of the suspension. The property's rough, and the suspension is really nice. They let me demo that a week or two ago, and I fell in love with it. The John Deere dealer had a used Ferris as well, and basically it was who was going to give me the better deal. I could have gone John Deere, Kubota, or Yanmar. Just first impressions. First off, when I demoed this in the yard, it came with just a stock seat, so I told them to give me an upgraded seat. This is a seat actually off of Ferris. It's better padded, and if you look back there, it's got springs on it. When you go with the 347 or the 359 EMR, it's got an actual suspension or air ride seat. I might have to go that route just because the property's so rough. The other issue we had, or concern, is this tractor is going to be used at multiple properties, and the one property in particular is in southeastern Ohio. It's pretty hilly. We were worried about tipping. So it came loaded. We demoed it not loaded. The dealer had a nice side yard with some elevation, and it felt tippy. I haven't tried it with the loaded tires. Might have to get some spacers for the wheels if we take it down there. This is the tractor we use in that hilly area. Just a quick side-by-side comparison. That's a 4601. It's definitely wider, and the center of gravity, it could be lower. I think the wide stance, it does pretty good in the terrain. I will say this, that bush hog saved us a few times, or maybe the bush hog is why we felt like we were tipping, who knows. But this Ford has got independent brakes in the back. I have had to use those. The front gets light and it won't even steer half the time. So that's another reason to go four-wheel drive, especially with the loader. I hear that the front of these things get light and you almost have to use that to traction. But anyways, a couple things I've noticed. I hope I don't become a John Deere rep, but when it comes to specs, I know I said I wouldn't talk about this much, but the John Deere had almost twice the fuel capacity, where this one's 7 gallons. I think the John Deere was 11. That was nice. So to backtrack a little, I initially set out to look at something like a 2025R John Deere, something in that 25 horse. You know, everyone scared me with the Tier 4 emissions. Then I looked at a 2025R, a B2601, and a Yanmar 424. I realized I might need something bigger. And then I thought, well, cab would be nice since I use this thing all year round. The 424 at my local Yanmar dealer, they actually had one with a Curtis cab on it. It was nice to be able to demo a 424 with a cab. Then you start thinking, if you're going to do it, why not cab with heat and AC? I started looking at aftermarket AC systems. I think a company called Red Dot had one, got mediocre reviews. I thought, nah, I'd rather go cab. So then I started shopping Yanmar 235, John Deere 3033, and the Kubota 2650 or the 3030. The problem when you get up in the L series is they don't have any mid-mount mowers. The mid-mount mower I could go back and forth on. I think the main reason I wanted it was I didn't want to have to mess with it. I knew I'd be using multiple implements like the box grader. We're cutting a road in here. Matter of fact, we're cutting a couple roads in, and I'll be box grading. I picked up a couple of these old dump trucks from a government auction. We're bringing over millings and a bunch of dirt. We're going to be mounding around here to give us some more privacy. We're in Delaware County, which is the fastest growing county in probably the country. A year ago, this was all farm fields. Now they're putting schools and developments all around us. No big deal, but we're going to mound in areas to give us some privacy. This was a small horse farm. We bought it, built 2 houses in the back, and kids have pigs and chickens and turkeys for 4-H, so the terrain's a little rough, which is why I wanted the Ferris. And there are some fields that even the Ferris is rough on that the tractor is going to be nice to mow with. One thing about the yt235 over the 424, the 424 had a stamped deck, and this is a fabricated deck, which is nice. It is a drive over. I don't really plan on disconnecting it, but the John Deere had a little knob here to kind of keep the deck up so you could still use 3-point. This one you've got, and the guy who dropped it off didn't even know. I had to read the manual to figure it out, but it's pretty easy after we figured it out. It's got these hooks here, and basically it's spring loaded. You just pull on it, and then it'll hook up here on both sides. So it's pretty easy to keep it high. The other thing I didn't like about the 424 was you either had the option of rear PTO or both PTO. I think that's what it was. You didn't have the option to go front PTO or rear PTO. It was either both. The other nice thing I like about this is that got an actual differential lock pedal on the YT. The 424 supposedly it was just built into the brake. There was some confusion with forums online. This has also got 3-speed range. Going from this tractor, first gear is almost too quick. I think they do make like a Sherman kit that goes between the bell housing and the transmission to make it slower, but we also have a vibratory roller, and you got to go pretty slow to get good compaction with it, especially putting these millings down, and this tractor was too fast for that. These old tractors, we got this and a 9N in the back barn back there. There's a certain nostalgia about those things. I grew up around them. I feel like I'm the last generation to really respect these tractors. They're a joy to drive. Mowing or any field work is therapeutic. Don't tell my wife, she thinks it's actual work, but in all reality, I use it to escape a stressful work environment that I'm in. I feel like any future generations won't truly respect these tractors. They're really a joy to drive. Everything I own is old. Constantly working on them though. Recently we had to put a fuel tank on it. We put electronic ignition on it, which was really nice. It starts really easy now. Had to put a new Bendix on the starter. Just simple maintenance stuff. The first tractor I've ever bought new came with a quick hitch. It does have turnstile buckles down there instead of there's another option, I forget what it is, but that is a cheaper option. You cannot extend the arms on this, but the dealer had an option where this included a radio and the I quick hitch, which we just hooked it up to a box blade, and we have an upper pin there for it. But I think I'm gonna really like that. It's a pain in the ass to take that bush hog off and put the box blade on. I guess that's because I'm so used to battling that old beat up bush hog, and these 6 to 8 foot box blades are hard to manhandle. So having that quick hitch and not being able to have to hook up a bush hog anymore, it's actually going to be nice with that mid-mount mower. The property that came from, basically when we built these houses, this is probably the flattest county in Ohio. Drainage is a huge issue. We're still working on it actually, and there were areas we just couldn't mow. The mowers would get stuck in the mud, so we had to bring this tractor up to bush hog. And the property that it came from, we have a small cabin in southeastern Ohio. We haven't mowed down there in 2 years because we've been working on getting this place going. So it's going to be real nice to take this tractor down there and mow with a cab. Southeastern Ohio, there's a lot of surprises when you haven't mowed for a few years down there. The biggest thing is whatever those bees are that dwell on the ground. I've mowed areas down there that I haven't mowed for a while, and I hit them things, and they always get you underneath the armpit. Man, do they hurt. So it'll be nice to have a cab. To be honest with you, no, I don't need a cab. It's pure luxury. You know what, rain, mosquitoes, dust. Yeah, you know, I could live with all that, to be honest with you. I've never bought anything new. The car I drive is a $2,000, 170,000 mile Buick. I've never bought a new car my entire life. My wife couldn't understand how I was going to spend $30-some thousand on a tractor and still drive a crappy old car. I guess my priorities are a little different. At any rate, I digress here. Back to the tractor. So the fuel capacity, I don't know if it's going to be an issue. They just dropped it off today. I do like the fact that John Deere has the bigger fuel capacity, and John Deere had the turn-by lock. However, their 33R cab was, they quoted me $6,000 more, and it wasn't worth it. Not to mention they didn't give me anything on trade. It was there was insulting on the trade, and I think these companies are losing business with inadequate trade values. I mean, a Kubota diesel front mower, I mean, it's worth something. Just don't give me nothing for it. At any rate, back to the tractor. A couple things I do like on it. I couldn't figure out, first off, there are no videos on these things. This is a yt235C, and it said it had cruise and auto throttle. I couldn't figure out how either one worked. Well, basically it's all manual. So basically when you rev the pedal up, you would lock this down as you go. So it's a manual cruise, which is actually nice. I believe the John Deeres are all electronic, but that's just more to go wrong. A manual lever like that, it's a piece of cake. It's also got auto throttle. So basically when you push down on the front or forward, it's going to automatically rev up the fuel. It's nice. I did get in a little bit of trouble today. I demoed this. I had the cruise on. I was actually mowing a little bit, and they didn't know how to disengage it, so I hit the brake, but it still stayed engaged. So just be careful when you first start using that. I kind of like the PTO engagement up here. It's just a quick turn, and then when you need to release it real quick, you just tap it. I've never used one of these buttons here. It's to mow in reverse. Actually, you don't have to. I thought you had to hold it down. No, you just push it one time. It stays lit as you're doing reverse. I was kind of hoping this 3-point hitch adjustment here would have down pressure. You know, box blading or blading, sometimes you need that, but it didn't, especially when you look at how on this particular model, the 3-point, oh, it must have been the 424 I saw. The 424 had actual hydraulic rams right in here, and I thought, you know, I wonder if it's got down pressure. But this one does, and it does have a turnbuckle here to adjust height. I know that was an issue. I don't know, one of the models I researched, being able to adjust the height of the two different sizes. One thing the yanmar guy that dropped it off told me to be careful of, they made these fairly tight, so you can't really, I'm trying to rock this, can't really rock it. Anyways, this part right here, you can see where it's kind of up. That's what raises and lowers your deck. It's up because I pinned up the deck. But if you leave these two loose, it'll bend that. So you got to make sure if you've got a deck on one of these, it doesn't bend. The guy didn't know about the regen button. I think what happens is the vehicle will alarm on you, and then you have to push the regen button. I believe you can still operate when that's in motion. It might idle a little higher. They said maybe your power might go down a little. I don't. The Tier 4 doesn't bother me, just like they've done with everything else in missions. And 5 years from now, when this thing's out of warranty, I'm sure there will be bypasses, which I will probably do. The particulate filter on this, I asked him what the cost of it was. He says it's about $2,000, but he claims it should last 5,000 hours. I haven't researched that. That's just what the salesman told me. It does have tilt, front and rear wiper. It included, he threw in the radio, which sounds pretty good. It's got the return air up there, or vent up there, and then there are your controls. The AC is nice on this thing. The one complaint I will have is the hydrostat can be noisy on this one. Everything I've driven has had a noisy hydrostat. That seems to be the #1 complaint of these hydrostats, is on anything, is the noise. And it is kind of noisy. I like the fact that the tie rods are in the back of the axle, not in the front, so you don't impact anything. I like the fact that everything's cast. I like the fact that this has got an actual kickstand that comes down. I think they took that right from John Deere. I noticed when I looked at some of the Coyotes and I think the LS tractors, a lot of this looked identical. Like the diff lock was the same place, the 4-wheel drive was the same place, the 3-point hitch, all that stuff was in the same spot. Makes me wonder if Yanmar's not producing some stuff for them. Cup holder, and oh, there's a 12-volt back here, which is nice. That has that. I did get the light kit with it. So you've got the lights in the front and in the back. The other thing that I researched was, I would say as far as lifting capacity goes, the Yanmar was probably middle, meaning John Deere, I think they're about 500 pounds more on their lifting capacity, just depending. Kubota's probably the lowest. Everybody else, well, I think Mahindra was super high. I kind of rolled out Mahindra. Seems like they're more of a marketing company. They didn't make their tractors in that size range anyways, just like John Deere doesn't. John Deere was very well thought out, except the dealer that I went to only had luxury cabs, or I guess that's what you call them, luxury cabs, and it looked like a spaceship when you stepped into that cab. There were buttons galore everywhere. Some of it I liked, meaning they had PTO speeds on the dash, which I thought was neat. If you're trying to maintain a certain PTO. The problem was in that price range. I think it was $37,000 for the 3033, and that's with deck and loader. I would have probably leaned more towards the 359. My dealer quoted me about that price for the 359. They had a bigger rebate. Thing of it is, though, it didn't have the mid-mount PTO. Super long when you put a bush hog on it. It was 17 feet long. I only have a 16-foot skid loader trailer. I didn't want to have to move something like that around. I'm going to be mowing some yard stuff with this. There are 3 of us here utilizing various things. We have a Ferris, a grasshopper, and then this. So all 3 of us could be mowing if we wanted to, which I like. Just quickly mowing in that pasture over there. I realize now why I never thought I'd have to take the loader off, but yeah, I think I'm going to have to when you mow, and it doesn't seem that difficult. He was telling me basically you pull the pins and lift up or down on the thing, and it pretty much takes itself off, with the exception of disconnecting these hoses down here. That was the other concern. Now with the deck being on here, I'm not as concerned about it, but without a deck, that looks like a very vulnerable spot, especially in some other areas I might be using this as. I might have to make a skid plate or something there in case I get close to a tree stump or when you're mowing 4 foot of grass, you have no idea. Of course, me mowing 4 foot of grass, I would not be using the belly mower. However, I might try and leave it on there and mow with a bush hog. I could always mow with a bush hog and then finish it up with a mid-mount mower. I don't know. We'll see. I don't really want to tear it up. Oh, the other thing is I measured it, and I'm within 1/4 of an inch of it fitting into my garage. I think the height of this is right at 83 or 84 inches, and I've got like 84.5 inches, so it barely fits. However, I don't know when that'll happen. I'll probably just keep it in this barn for now. Oh, the other thing I liked about it, well, first off, you don't have to, other models you'd have to swing forward the guard grill. This one, you don't have to. It comes up fairly easy. The cab, which I liked this actually, you see those rubber mounts? It's actually, it gives quite a bit. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's some pretty good cushion there. That being said, stock seat does not work. I'm worried about that seat working. It is better than what was initially on there, but I might have to go with a suspension or air seat or something like that. So time will tell. Like I said, there wasn't any videos on this thing, no custom reviews on it. I didn't really want to spend this much money, to be honest with you. What did it is everything I've had has been 50 years old. That's probably a 60s model 601. I've got a Ford 9N back there. It was built in the early 40s. These tractors last 50 years. I will always need a tractor. That's what made me decide to invest this much money into a tractor. Because for 30 grand, I can buy a hell of a 15-year-old tractor, but it would have been huge. It wouldn't have been compact. Compact tractors are hard to find. I think the tier 4 edition has raised the resale value of used tractors. The 1, 2, 3, 4 years old, even 5 years old, is almost the price of a new one, and the tier 4 just doesn't scare me. Like I said, if it's an issue, 5 years, when it's out of warranty, I can almost guarantee there will be some bypass case provided for it. This video is going on 22 minutes long. I don't really know. I'll probably do another video after I've used it for a while. I am going to go out there and we just cut that road in. I bought an old JD 760 pan. I had to clear acres of topsoil, which is where I'm getting all the stuff to mound with, to make a parking lot. And while I had the pan, I cut this road in with it and put millings in. And I got a road in the back I cut in to put a barn in, put a barn back there in the back. So then I'll be grading it and then using the vibratory roller to go over it. Of course, we put that driveway in way back there in the back to get back to the houses. I think that's about all I have to say. Probably didn't talk about the tractor more than what I should. It's a good looking tractor. With the rebates going on now, the 359, I don't think anything will touch that. Considering the 333R and the 359 were the same price, the cab is much better in the 359. You get the better seat. You get remotes in the back, which I don't currently have any implements that need remotes. Anyways, you get push buttons on here for like a grapple or something like that. It's better seat. There is, it's got electronic cruise and electronic throttle, probably some type of memory settings for RPM and stuff, just like the John Deere has. Where this one's more basic. It is roomy. The seat does move backwards and forwards. However, on this particular seat, since it is aftermarket or a fair seat, it won't go back any further, even though the notch will allow it to. It won't reset. I do like that the John Deere 3033, the fill wasn't up here. It was elsewhere, but the 359, the fill was low too. Again, they're not features that were worth thousands of dollars, especially considering they didn't give me anything for trade. Again, this would be fine. I did hear or read a lot of reviews bad about the Kubota as far as aluminum housings in the back. This is all cast. However, I don't think I'd have gone wrong if I went Kubota either. The Kubotas, I think, are phenomenal tractors. I had a 30-year-old Kubota, and the damn thing did great. Anyways, I'll stop talking. These are the R4 tires. They are just wider. You know, you feel like you're in a heavy piece of equipment with this 601. This one, you can tell it's compact. I don't know what the weight difference is on them, but it's just going to take some getting used to, I think. Like I said, there's a nostalgia with these old 601 tractors. I enjoy it. It's therapeutic. I'm not like jumping one of these. I'm not in a huge hurry to get out of it. So I don't care how fast it goes. I'm going to turn the radio on and the AC or heat on and just enjoy myself. I'll post another video of some work I've actually done with it.